Packing for a family trip can feel so overwhelming, especially if, like me, you have ADHD, or maybe you also have family members who have autism, who might rely on having certain items with them, and you know if you don't pack them, then things aren't going to go well. Over the years, I've developed a step-by-step packing system that keeps me organised and sane, and ensures that we don't leave anything important behind on our trips, even with everything else going on. In this video, I'm going to show you how I make packing as simple and stress-free as possible. I've got loads of tips to share with you, whether you're flying off on a long trip or going on a weekend mini break in the UK. I'll show you my checklists and my whole system to get you ready for your best holiday ever. If you're new here, hi, I am Ree from mummyof4.com. You will have seen lots of packing videos previously here on this channel and also over on my Disney channel when packing for trips to the Disney parks and on the Disney Cruise Line. Today we are focusing on packing for a short UK mini break, but honestly, these principles apply no matter where you are heading. Editing Ree here, please excuse the banging. You can hear my husband is hammering something. Anyway, I just wanted to say that there's something that kind of went on with this trip that didn't go exactly to plan, but stay tuned and I'll come back and explain at the end. So one of the first steps of my packing method is setting a fake deadline. So your family probably know when you're actually going away, and I'm not suggesting you hide that from them. That would be kind of tricky. However, I am suggesting you set an I would like to be packed by deadline, and before that, and everyone who would like to take whatever they would like to take needs to submit the stuff for packing by this date, which is before the date that you'd like to finish packing. And the reason I do this is to allow for margins of error, to allow for wiggle room, and to allow for life to happen, which I find happens a lot, especially the more children you have. I have 4. 3 of them generally come with us because our eldest is in university. So generally these days I'm packing for 3 children plus myself and my husband. That is still plenty to potentially go wrong. And I always find if I've left things till last minute and then life happens, like someone is ill, a work deadline happens, something happens with the school, then that just leaves no wiggle room. And then you end up leaving flustered and without the stuff you need, and it's just not fun for anybody. Now, obviously, when I'm filming things like Pack With Me videos, I have to physically film them and then edit them, which means I've got to pack a little earlier than perhaps most people would. But you know what? Even if I stopped doing this tomorrow, I would still pack early. I would aim to be packed a good 2 or 3 days before leaving. Now, there are always going to be some last minute items and we will get to those, especially ways not to forget them. But the bulk of the packing, if you can aim to get that done 2 or 3 days before you leave, then that way, if something is actually dirty and you didn't realize it needs washing, you need to wash it, you have time to wash and dry it, even if it's not a tumble dryable item, because obviously if something's not tumble dryable, you've got to leave enough time for it to physically air dry before you can put it in the case. It also leaves enough time to order in things if suddenly your teenager gives you his jeans and you realize they don't fit him and you need to order a new pair. It does allow for things like that. So if you have a fake deadline of, say, 3 days before you're leaving to be finished with packing, I would suggest a deadline of 3 or 4 days before that for your family to actually give you the things you need. And the rule in our house is once it's packed, you do not touch it. I know I've had some people in the comments before saying, I don't like to pack too early because we end up taking bits out again. Oh, no. If it's packed, it's ticked off on my list and someone removes it, there is slim to no chance of it actually making it back into the case. So it may sound mean and strict, but it's for everybody's benefit in the long run, because I know it'll be the person that took the thing out of the case and then is at the trip without the stuff they need that will be upset in the long run. Fake deadline, and then if that week before the trip, everyone is handed the things in that they want to pack. And obviously if your children are very little, you probably just have to go rounding this stuff up yourself. But my kids that live at home now are 12, 9 and 7 and more than capable of saying, here's a basket, please put in it 3 pairs of pants, 3 pairs of socks and this list of clothes that we've agreed together. PJs and whatever else is on the list. So to pack for a mini break, so how do we formulate the list? That's the question. I do that by using my outfit planning page. I like to use the pages from my organised mini break planner, which you can get in a printed book copy directly from my planner store, or as a printable for you to print out and use as many times as you need for personal use. Today, I'm going to use the printable versions, which I've got printed inside my Organised Life binder. If you want to know exactly what is inside of here to hold my life together, honestly, this thing has been game changing. I will link my full Organised Life binder video, which explains how I use it, why it's so great, and why it will change your flipping life. So you can watch that video after you've seen this one. The pages we're going to be focusing on for the Organised Mini Break Planner are the outfit planning, the packing checklist, which you can either organise by day or by person, or for belt and braces, you can do both, plus the complete packing checklist. There are very similar pages inside of my magical planners if you're heading to Disney parks or on a Disney cruise, and also my organised holiday planner, which has very similar packing pages, but a lot more day-by-day organising pages for if you're going on a longer trip. Now, when we're going to Disney, if you've seen my Disney vlogs, we do perhaps a little more outfit planning than most people would do, and certainly a lot more than I would do going on like a UK mini break trip, because we're theming outfits to restaurants and all sorts. However, I would still recommend roughly figuring out what everyone's going to wear each day of the trip in advance before you go, just to make sure that everyone's got something to wear each day. Now, you know, if you're going to be washing when you get there or anything, I don't generally do this. I did use 2 years ago when we went on different types of holidays, but our holidays these days are so kind of busy, mental, that I save all the washing for when we get back. So therefore I pack enough clothes for each day, plus spares. What I do is I write everybody's names across the top of the checklist and the days that we're traveling down the side, and then I just jot into each slot what each person is going to wear that day, and that forms the list of everything that ultimately I have to pack. Now, when we get there, does it really matter if someone's wearing Wednesday's clothes on Sunday? Absolutely not. But by packing this way, at least I know everyone's got something for every day. Obviously, if you're traveling out of season, so say it's cold in the UK, you're going somewhere warm, you're going to want to have warm clothes for certain days, summery clothes for other days. You know, you're going to be in different climates. This is another reason that planning outfits per day is a good idea, to make sure you have everything you need. Anyway, I've now got a whole load of stuff in baskets that my family have given me based on the clothes that they said they wanted to wear on each day, and I've slotted into my outfit planner. So let's now decode the basket, sort through, make sure that they've actually given me everything that they need, check we've got everything, and then I'll show you how I physically pack it. Plus some more top tips that I've been doing lately that have just absolutely saved my sanity. As I'm at the gathering things stage, I do like to use baskets to separate things out. I use these for everything. If you've watched my organisation projects, decluttering, packing, everything. We have loads of them. They stack inside the airing cupboard. They're for laundry, for packing. Honestly, you name it, we use a basket for it. But especially for packing, for gathering things together before they get checked into the case. They're a must. So starting off with the stuff for the girls, because they tend to wear not necessarily matching outfits every day, but very least coordinating as they're still quite young. They have chosen reverse outfits for our last day of the trip. So one of them's got lilac top, pink bottoms, and then the other one's got the reverse, and they've got a different headband each. Now, this is another reason it's good to pack in advance. They want to wear their navy dresses with hearts on the second day, and those are in here, in my airing cupboard, and still not quite dry. So they're going to have to be added in. We're going to have to put them on the list of things to be added when dry, but at least it's going to be quite a short list, I hope, of things that will have to be put in, because most of it we're going to break the back of today. And then they've also got their travel day clothes, which they have given me, and they've got stripy t-shirts and leggings, which are also on the hangers. Now I take everyone's travel day clothes off them, because otherwise, and to be honest, my husband's the most guilty of this, they'll wear the stuff they want to wear on travel day on the morning you're about to leave, and they're like, where's my this? I want to wear that. It's like, well, you can't wear that because you've already worn it and it's dirty or it's not quite dry yet or whatever. So I take everyone's travel day clothes off them as if they're packed, and then give them to them the night before, hang them on their doors. And it's just one less stress on travel day, even if you're just Driving a few hours within the UK, honestly, it's a tip that will change your life. It'll change your flipping life. Travel day can go over there. I'd even go so far as adding pants and socks and everything, so there's just no stress when you're due to leave, especially if you're traveling early. And then the girls have given me pants and socks and vests, as well as pajamas and their pillowcases that they really like. Sometimes it's nice to have like a little creature comfort from home. This is perhaps an autism kind of sensory thing, but sometimes they find it easier to go to sleep when they have the same pillowcase that they would have at home. So the spare one often gets packed and they've got pajamas in there. Now, as I'm packing, I almost never do suitcase for one person, suitcase for another person, suitcase for another person. Partly because I find it easier to just be like, it's this day, here are the clothes you're wearing, especially if we're going to Disney. So if we're going to Disney, I'd pack like an Epcot suitcase, a Magic Kingdom suitcase, and just do it like that. But also, if you're traveling on a plane, I mean, which we're not on this occasion, but if you're traveling on a plane and one case goes missing, then one person would have no clothes if you did it that way. If you pack by day, or at very least put something of each person's in each case and you split the cases, if one case goes missing, at least everyone's still got something to wear. Okay, so I'm now going to put the girls' clothes, like all of this day's clothes, bar the dresses, obviously they're going to have to be added in last, and all of this day's clothes in separate packing cubes, so they'll be super easy to dress on those mornings. As it's only a 2-night trip, I've managed to fit all of the girls' clothes, bar those dresses, which obviously need to be added because they're not dry yet, into that one packing cube. I'm just going to put nightwear in that one. So for the girls, that one done, this one done. We're going to kind of highlight the heart dress because they got to go in. I'm going to put like arrows, arrows, to make sure they get done. But this stuff is done. And what I'm going to do is at the bottom of the next page, so you can do, which you can do by day, but I mostly tend to do by person. I'm just going to write in bright pink, heart dresses, because they need to be added. I also need to find Bella's pillowcase, so I'm going to put the pillowcases in there. Obviously pillowcases are not essential for everybody, but there are little spaces inside the organised mini break planner printables for you to add your own bits. And if you want to know why I love packing cubes so much, it's just because it keeps everything neat and tidy. If everything's just in the suitcase, then you end up going through everything, tipping things out. Whereas this could be sorted, like all that stuff's the girls, that can be taken out, slung into a wardrobe or a drawer, or even put back in the case, and it's kept reasonably neat and together. You can label these or not, but to be honest, the easiest way is probably just to have color coded, have different packing cubes for different people. So I have pink for the girly stuff, and then say grey for my husband and blue for Will, perhaps. One thing I do to make packing so much easier is have certain things that just live in the case. And one of the things that lives in the case is a set of chargers and things. Now, these are quite specific. They're camera battery chargers, but you know, things like just lightning cables or USB-C cables. I used to run around the house at last minute scooping up chargers, and then I'd inevitably end up forgetting some, and then when we got back we couldn't find them. It was just a whole nightmare. You can get chargers that are reasonably inexpensive on Amazon. I've actually ordered some more multi-plugs that have both USB and USB-C adapters on them, because some of these have seen better days and we don't get very fast charge when we're away, so it's time to upgrade some of those. I also put family name stickers on the plugs. That has got my phone number there underneath my thumb, so if we end up leaving them behind, then fingers crossed we have a phone call before we even left the hotel and we go back and pick any up. But more than anything, that like bright pink sticker makes me think, hey, that's ours, we need to pick that up. I like to tie up watch cords, power cords, things like that with these little Velcro ties that just keep everything super neat. Theory is at the end of every trip I tidy them back up. In reality, just before the next trip I tidy them all up, but they do live in the case, so it's not something I've got to go look for. Now I'd better get out the cases, partly because I need to put all this stuff I'm packing into the cases, and partly because I have a few things that live in the cases to just make my life so much easier every time I pack, and I want to show you what they are. So this half of the case is largely stuff that lives in the case. We've got medical supplies, plasters, medication for if I have a migraine, indigestion stuff, first aid, all the stuff that you might need, that you might have in your cupboard at home, that if someone's ill, you don't want to have to be running out to find a pharmacy. Hopefully we won't need it, but we'll be really glad of it if we do need it. Can't travel with children without Calpol and Nurofen and syringes and a thermometer and a printable medication chart to keep track if anyone is in fact ill. Again, hopefully we won't need any of it, but if we do need it, then it's there. If you go to mummyof4.com/join the club or scan the QR code on screen, you can get your own free printables from my Ultimate Mum Bundle. You can pop those into your own organised life binder, but the medication record is really good to keep with your syringe and your Calpol and stuff. I have one of these that I also lives at home, actually in my bedroom, so if any of them is ill in the night, then I've got it and I know where it is. These are our toothbrushes that live in the case. I wash them out in the dishwasher so they're sanitised after every trip and put them back in there. A little set of mini makeup brushes that live in the case, some skincare and things for me that lives in the case, a mirror that lives in the case. The lighting's often very bad in hotel rooms, so I'll be glad of a mirror to sit wherever, not necessarily in the bathroom to do my makeup. Some hair ties for the girls on a carabiner. There's a hairbrush that lives in the case. This is a wet bag for dirty laundry that always gets put back in the case. These are all our toiletries that have been topped up and they live in the case. Just saves on so much packing. It's not like we go through anymore. Obviously we end up using the same amount overall, but it's just nice to have sets that I don't have to worry about going to pack. Shower caps. This is a towel scrunchie, which is really handy for drying my hair a little bit quicker. And I've also got claw clips for, doing hair and things, especially for drying it in the case. I tend not to bother packing a hairdryer because most hotels have them. I do check before we leave. I do have to pack last minute my hair straighteners, which is why I always do the last minute check through on my checklist for things like hair straighteners and last minute stuff. I also have, which is in my bag downstairs, a laptop charger. If you watched my travel day vlog over on my Mummy of 4 Does Disney channel, when we went over to the Disney cruise, we sailed on the Disney Dream, I made a massive faux pas. I didn't have that charger that lived in the case because one of them got mangled by the vacuum cleaner. Now my husband bought me a new one to replace it. It lives in the case, so we do not have that issue again. So we've got clothes for the girls, done. Pyjamas for me, done. Blankets for the girls, they tend to sleep a lot better if I take their own blankets, so I'm doing it. My husband's packing cube, William's packing cube, all sorted. So other than my clothes and those heart dresses for the girls, which I have written on the checklist, we're not doing too badly. And if we get ticking on the packing list, we are not going to need passports because we're not leaving the country. The other thing I sometimes do is just scribble it out. We don't need to deal with that at all. These are pretty much last minute things, and I do check through this list the day that we are actually leaving. Now outfits, I haven't done everybody's outfits or everybody's underwear and socks, so I can't tick that yet, but I have done everybody's sleepwear, so that's cool. Coats go in last minute because we use them. We're pretty much going to wear the shoes, although I will put in a spare pair of shoes for everyone in case we get soaked through, basically. Swimwear, not bothering on this trip, and accessories, largely done, but I will check those over. Again, these are mostly last minute things, other than I've done chargers, I've not yet done power bank, so I'm not going to sort that. Air tags I attach to the children's bags. I do that on every trip. The children will be taking their crossbody bags, and I will just sort those out the night before because we will be using them before that. So while it might look kind of chaotic behind me, because I've been following the list, I know there's not much left to do. We can go through and tick off on here or in my physical organised mini break planner, but for today we're using the large checklist, and just check off what's done. So underwear and socks, not done for everyone. I haven't done my stuff. In fact, let's check off by person, shall we? And by item. So tops, free, no. I basically haven't done much for me. Tops, it's just dresses we're waiting for the girls, but leggings and hoodies and cardigans, all things like that, all done. all their underwear, socks, accessories sorted. Same for Will, same for my husband. In fact, Will's tops are in as well. So I can just see then, yeah, I got the girls' dresses to still pop in and the stuff for me, but really we're not doing too badly. And then going through the list of toiletries, all the toothbrushes are in, shampoo and conditioner all topped up, body wash, deodorants for everyone. And while there are things on here that can't physically be ticked off till the last minute, so I'm not going to be packing my phone until the last minute because I need it. I won't pack my laptop for work until it's time to go because I need it for work. I won't pack my camera that I'm currently filming on right now because I'm currently filming on it. But at least those last minute things are on the checklist. The checklists save my sanity, especially, I don't know if it's a mum life thing, just feeling overwhelmed and got lots to do, or an ADHD thing. But before we go away, I get this kind of, oh my goodness, what have I forgotten thing. Maybe it's being a mum of children with autism and knowing if I forget certain things, then I will inevitably have people that are very upset. Perhaps neurotypical children a little more unbothered when they don't have the things they're expecting to have. I don't know, not having birthed any neurotypical children myself, but I know in my experience, I think that's why I get a little bit of anxiety about forgetting things, because I know my husband and children will be rather upset if I forget the things for them. So the list saved my sanity. While I'm thinking, what have I forgotten? What have I forgotten? If I can just go and go, right, everything is ticked, I can relax. It makes me feel a million times better. And whether you go for the printed book, which is kind of handy because you can sort of sling it in your bag and take it with you. And it does have pages for actually planning the days of your trips as well inside this. I mean, it does in the printed version too, and you could just print those out. You could still take the printed pages with you. We always print out our documents, things like hotel booking sheets and things, and always put those inside a folder in my case anyway. So to be honest, you could just print out the printable versions and just take them out of your binder and pop them in your case if you've got any information that you've written out on those. So probably tomorrow, when the rest of these bits are dry, I can finish ticking off the rest of this stuff. And again, this is why I don't like leaving packing till the last minute, because if I was trying to pack at the last minute and things hadn't been washed or weren't dry yet or whatever, I just wouldn't physically be able to put them in, would I? So for me, this fake deadline and packing a little bit earlier, although I acknowledge it's not for everyone, works a treat. Editing me back. Excuse the noise, there's now some sort of drilling going on, so that's fun. Anyway, the trip that we were going on, that I was packing for, didn't happen, and we're going somewhere else instead. So ultimately, some of the clothes have had to be switched over slightly, but ultimately, I do not regret packing when I did. I stand by packing early because it makes my life easier, it takes away the stress. It allows me to fix things, order things, find things that are missing. Even though we didn't go on that trip and I did have to unpack some stuff and repack some stuff, even if we weren't going anywhere else, it had allowed me to reset the suitcase. And resetting our suitcases is such a good thing to do, because that way when you go to pack next time, you know all your cables are organised, you've topped up your toiletries, everything's ready to go. You just need to add in clothes. And if you can reset your case so that your essentials are there and ready, if you get to go on a last minute trip, which often like we get offered things like that, or we decide, you know, maybe to book something without quite as much planning, then that is, you know, you're all good to go. You're all good to go. It takes away the stress element. It takes away one of the reasons you shouldn't do it. So I stand by resetting your case. I stand by packing when I did. So we didn't end up going to the place we were going to go. We're actually going to go there beginning of next year. Instead now there's some things being moved around. But we are going on another trip, and if you want to see that, then click on the video on screen now to see where we're going. And if you want to know what else is inside of my organised life binder and how it's been totally life-changing and how you can set up your own, then click on the video on screen now, or check out my Patreon. We can hang out some more. There are some printables inside of my Patreon that you can use to set up your binder. So I shall see you guys over there. Mwah. Bye.